What is going on, guys? TKD 1, 2, 3 back video, and we're talking about the brand new news we got here this week revolving around Star Wars Battlefront 2. Now, of course, if you all know, if you all remember the big debacle that was the infamous, the famous John Boyega tweet, right, where he was asking the fine people at DICE and the fine people at EA, hey, you know, Star Wars Battlefront's a great base game, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's a great game, has great content, great graphics, all this good stuff, but you know, where is that single player experience, right? And so, well, you know, that tweet pretty much spawned off this big, you know, urge and big movement for Battlefront 2 to have a single player campaign. And of course, this week they released a little trailer that shows this is Battlefront 2. And in said trailer, we have the boy Finn, John Boyega, you know, just fully just giving us the entire, you know, pretty much details overview of Star Wars Battlefront 2, what will be coming with it in terms of multiplayer, single player, and all that good stuff. And then he basically went into detail. And here I'm going to regurgitate that news, and I will bring it to you all with that TKD 1, 2, 3 flair and style. I don't know where you're gonna go with that. Let's just jump into this. In terms of Battlefront 2, one of the biggest draws to this game, and really will be the biggest, you know, things that this game I feel will be kind of, you know, held to a higher pedestal for, is the fact that they're covering all three eras of Star Wars, right? So in the first Battlefront, we only had the original trilogy. It was great and all was great, and you know, we did have a little bit of content going into the new era, this current era, you know, with the Battle of Jakku being featured and everything, stuff like that. But here in Battlefront 2, we are having all three eras shown. That includes the prequel, the original trilogy, and the current era that we are at today. And so our boy John Boyega went into detail, you know, just laying out all the maps that are going to be featured in the multiplayer section of Battlefront 2. And they will, of course, feature all three eras. And to go, you know, just off the first one, let's go over the maps that will be featured that are from the prequel era, and that is Kamino, Kashyyyk, and Theed. Now, if you're watching E3 this year, you are very much well aware of the map Theed. They played it at E3 live and everything, and they showed off that map a ton. But probably off of the stuff with the prequels, I'm very much hyped for Kamino. I love the just rainy, just, you know, just super cool ambiance to the actual location of Kamino. I'm definitely hyped to play that stuff. And of course, you know, having those old clone trooper looks, well, old for me, you know, you know, for me being 19, that's kind of like what I grew up on. You know, that's kind of like my era of Star Wars that you know, most was tied to my childhood. But I'm definitely hyped to play Kamino, and as well as Kashyyyk, which is, you know, primarily home to the Wookiees and everything, and they had a couple battles during episode 3 and such. And yeah, overall, pretty much really hyped to see all of those coming in. And I'm sure we'll get more to DLC and everything moving on to the coming months after Battlefront 2's release. And next up here we have the original trilogy, which we will have 5 original trilogy maps. You know what I'm saying? We have Death Star 2, Endor, Mos Eisley's, Yavin 4, and Hoth. Of course, we have seen Death Star maps on the original Battlefront. We have had Hoth as well in the original Battlefront and everything. So overall, a lot of these are pretty much kind of the same type of maps that I think we'll be getting from Battlefront 1. Obviously not the same layout, I assume, but pretty much in the same kind of aesthetic and overall feel to the map, because it's, you know, the same place and everything. But I am very hyped for Mos Eisley. Please give me that, because Battlefront 2, I'm getting flashbacks to fighting there as well. I want to see the cantina and everything, so definitely really hyped Mos Eisley in the rotation as well. And then moving on to the current trilogy, of course, we will have Starkiller Base, Jakku, and Takodana. Now, of course, Takodana being the location of Maz Kanata's bar and everything and stuff like that. So definitely hyped to see that map along with Jakku, which we already saw, you know, but I would see a little more Jakku. And probably going to be the most interesting map of those three, I would say, is probably going to be Starkiller Base, just because, you know, we got a huge fight area during the episode 7 and everything, and we have, you know, just like a lot of time in that actual Starkiller Base on episode 7 and everything, so really hyped to be able to play those maps and play those locations in Battlefront 2. And along with that, they actually showed some, you know, screenshots, a little bit of it. You know, there's some maps and spots from Kamino in here, there's some from Starkiller Base, and there's some from Jakku, and also some from Yavin 4 as well. So definitely some cool, you know, just like images here. I'll have them up on the screen for a little bit, but won't, you know, take up too much of your time. And then our boy Boyega went on to discuss some of the multiplayer modes of this actual game. Now, you know, if you talk to me, right, in terms of Battlefront 1, a lot of the issue going into the, you know, just months after release, right, was that, you know, they started adding a little bit more game modes and everything, and there was a lot of game modes in Battlefront 1, right? Like, there was at least maybe, you know, 10-ish or something like that. Like, there was a good amount of game modes in Battlefront 1, right? And what that caused was, you know, when the actual base of players went down over time. It went down with people being discouraged about the game and everything and stuff like that, with all the just drama about Battlefront 1 and everything. When that base went down, the amount of people that were kind of staggered in these modes, you know, just kind of spread. And so what that meant was that if you have a low base of players with a high count of multiplayer modes, you run into this issue where you have a lot of empty game modes, right? And that happened a lot in Battlefront 1. So I think here with Battlefront 2, they're aiming to kind of make sure that doesn't happen, and like a lot of people feel that like they can go into any game mode and be able to play the game mode with other people, you know what I'm saying? And so right now, as they announced it, there are only 5 game modes in Battlefront 2. And the first one is called Strike. It's where 2 8-player teams will compete in objective-based missions. Meanwhile, another mode is called Starfighter Assault, where people will have to assume control over hero ships and fighters and bombers and interceptors as 2 teams engage in multi-stage objective-based space battles. Now, when they, you know, kind of detailed that Starfighter Assault game mode, I instantly think to when they brought back some of the stuff from Rogue One, right? And when they did that whole thing about you having to take down the shield to get onto the planet and everything, and I feel like that's going to be the same type of way here with this game mode. You know, it just definitely sounds like it, so I feel like that might be what they're going for. And Strike sounds really cool as well. It sounds like it'll be really dynamic from game to game and everything, with all these different objective-based modes in the actual game mode as well, so we have to play that. Along with that, they are bringing back a classic from Battlefront 1, a big fan favorite from Battlefront 1, and that is Heroes versus Villains. Of course, it will retain its 4-player on 4-player game mode and everything, so you will be able to fight, you know, with your favorite, you know, with your favorite heroes and villains in a 4v4 setting, just like in Battlefield. If I say Battlefield one more time in this recording, I swear to God. Anyway, you will be able to, you know, do your 4v4 on Battlefront 2 in this game mode. And along with that, a new game mode came to light, and that is called Arcade, right? And this will be offering people that only play by themselves or with split screen multiplayer, and you will be able to just do, you know, some AI fighting in different sorts of game modes. So I'm thinking this is just kind of like Pirate Match they just basically described here. They said it a little bit weirdly, but it just sounds to me like it's basically just gonna be like a private match where you can make custom games, everything, and set everything up to the way you want to set it up to. That's what at least it sounds like in the arcade style of game mode. And then lastly here, the last game mode they decided to highlight here is called Galactic Assault, where people will quote battle on a large team oriented objective based maps. And so I'm thinking that is basically going to be the big game mode that was featured in Battlefront 1, but I forgot what it was called at the moment right now. Walker Assault? Yes, it was called Walker Assault. And so this mode will kind of, like, I feel kind of have that spot filled with Walker Assault, right? I feel like that's definitely what they're going for here. And most def at least is going to be like it in a way where, you know, like a lot of people kind of gravitated towards Walker Assault because you could do so many things in a given game and everything, so definitely was a good game mode as well. And of course, you highlight the campaigns. Definitely no surprise there. And my only thing is that, man, like, I want to see space battles, man. Like, we have been, you know, wanting space battles since Battlefront 1. I want to be able to have a battle, right, where there is a, you know, like 40 on 40, right? Like, let's just say 40 on 40, okay? 20 people from each team spawn on a planet, and then 20 people spawn up top just above the horizon of the planet, right? And so you have a space battle going on along with a ground battle going on, and they both have to interact with each other, and they both have to, you know, just do different things to help the other side of the team. And I just was really hoping that that would be a part of this game. Who knows, maybe it is, maybe they're gonna just like surprise us out the blue. I'm really hoping space battles gets in here, but I'm just not sure at this point. But that was all of the Star Wars Battlefront 2 news this week. If you all enjoyed, make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and share down below. I appreciate you. Thanks for watching, and as always, I got you.